for Dan Barreiro's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
People listening going, I thought Barreiro was supposed to be back today. Garzy told us yesterday Dan would be back on Tuesday. Yeah, I did. And that was the information that we had at the time. Brett Blakemore was going to get a day off to mourn his U.S. soccer team losing to Belgium last night in the World Cup. Garzy was going to go back to the usual chair, and all would be right with the bumper-to-bumper world. The travel gods, though, they had other ideas. For the Larry David of the fan, Dan Barreiro, they had other ideas, and he has not yet made it back from his 4th of July pilgrimage. So I'm guessing he will have a story tomorrow. Maybe he won't want to get into it. Maybe it's been too frustrating. I don't know.
Maybe we'll be back tomorrow.
Maybe we'll be back tomorrow. That's a great point.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'll be here one way or the other. You're in for me on Thursday, I think. Did we talk about that?
No, but I'm in.
That's in your text.
It's somewhere.
Yeah, July 9th. I need you in for me. I don't think I need you for the 10th anymore. But we're here. And Brett Blakemore gets the top 5 at 5.
Well, we'll start there. The dream is dead. World Cup correspondent, dead. The U.S. playing great soccer, dead. The U.S. loses in embarrassing fashion 4-1. I think it's about as bad of a game you could possibly. I heard Mark Rosen, who heard Chris Hockey, compare it to the 41 donut game for the Vikings.
Oh, man.
Where it was just over from the start and you were never in it to begin with. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it certainly felt close to me.
Yeah, no, I see what they're saying. The one difference is, yes, it started horribly. They were playing terribly. They played terrible. And that's the
reality of it.
Is as fun as the whole experience was, from the Paraguay match on, from Seattle to L.A. to Santa Clara, back to Seattle, and everywhere in between on the West Coast. It was awesome to see the scene, country roads, the red card stuff. It was awesome until it wasn't. And the headline is, what a horrible way to go out. What was really a fun ride. And the difference between 41 Donut is, for 62 seconds, we were in it again.
Yeah.
After all of it. After the dreadful start.
They're pumping up the crowd.
It's great.
Yeah.
I could barely get the "we're so back" tweet out, and I looked up, and they were already down again. That's how quickly it resurfaced. And then even then, you're still in it. It's still a one-goal game. That was certainly the message at the half, it sounds like, until one of the worst plays that you'll ever see by our goaltender, who I know soccer people have been down on, and he's like the one MLS guy that we have, so they're bitter about that.
Number one is the keeper. Number two, Tim Ring.
Yeah.
And they were both responsible for all 3 of the goals. All 4 of the goals.
And those are the last 2 lines of defense, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. See the sweeper? Your guy, Tim?
Yeah, the man bun, blonde hair. Yep.
Sweeper, you like that? He's the sweeper. Then you got the goal. Those are the 2 most important people to keep the ball out of the net, right? And they didn't have a great day. And so that's where it's different from 41 Donut, that there were moments where you felt like they weren't that far away, that just one thing could. 41 Donut, they were down 21-0 in 3 possessions. It was over. Mitch Berger, the punter on that team, has talked to Dan on this show that in the second quarter he was talking to Robert Smith, the running back on that team, about their vacation to Cancun that they were scheduling for the next week. Like, that's how bad 41 Donut was. So I get the point. I can't quite go that far because there were glimpses of hope.
I think just that everyone wants to overcomplicate it and make it, and there are problems. We talked about pay for play and the developmental systems and political figures getting involved, and everyone just wants to overcomplicate it and make it something. The reality was the U.S. played like garbage.
Yep.
They didn't play as good as they did earlier in the tournament, and they lost to a better team that didn't play like garbage. And I think that's the long and the short of it.
We will talk more World Cup in the 5 o'clock hour as well, because we've got to wait another 4 years to do it again. So we may as well empty the World Cup notebook about it. I'm talking about the U.S. team.
Oh, the U.S. team.
You can get into other stuff here in the top 5, but the U.S., the cosmic significance of all of it, we're going to get back into in the 5 o'clock hour.
Tom Brady put out a tweet, and it said, quote, "Yeah, so that might top 28-3. What's he talking about? Argentina earlier today, down 2-0, which we all know is the most dangerous lead in soccer. What Egypt should have done is just kept it scoreless for as long as humanly possible. It comes down to the 83rd. Let's see, the 79th minute before Tottenham Hotspur member Christian Romero cuts the lead to 1 with a header, and then Messi 5 minutes later scores the tying goal. 7 minutes later, Enzo Fernandez scores the game-winning goal. In regulation, they had 10 minutes and stoppage time to spare, down 2 goals, and Argentina roars back and wins in regulation. Didn't even need extra time to do it. It was, if you were watching, It was an electric game.
Well, that's got to be the word for it. Electric, right?
Yeah.
I know we love to do the win probability. We do the win probability for everything. I mean, the win probability for Egypt had to be like 99%, right? At one point in that match, it had to be over 90, right? Because you said 2-0 with how much time left? 10 minutes?
At the 80th minute, they're down 2 goals.
So that's got to be 95, 96, 97% win probability. Not that it matters what the percentage is. The point is, how rare is that? Mm-hmm. Like, that is a miracle. You want to compare Vikings, that's the Minneapolis Miracle. In the final minute, you need a play. You're down to your last timeout. I think it's 3rd down. Case Keenum to Diggs, touchdown, walk-off. That's, to me, that's closer to a Vikings deal than 41 Donut is last night. Are you looking for the win probability?
I thought ESPN would be my savior, but they don't have it on, so we'll just move on. But I'm sure you're right. I'm sure it was something in the 90% range. Right now, we're getting extra time, Switzerland and Colombia. That's going on at the moment. Yesterday as well, we saw Spain, although we already talked about it, Spain beating Portugal, so it would be Belgium and Spain in the Elite Eight, the quarterfinals. So there's your World Cup update. I will admit, as a soccer guy, tomorrow's the first day without World Cup games.
Yeah.
In like 3 weeks.
I know.
There will be some withdrawals, but there already is withdrawals because I'm already emotionally less invested than I was yesterday.
Yeah, this is for the final spot in the quarterfinals, right? Did you say that?
Yes, that's correct. So all the other quarterfinal matchups will be set, and Switzerland, Colombia, in extra time right now. The first half of overtime, make sense, to decide who is still scoreless in that game as well.
It's a top 5 at 5 tradition to have the host repeat something that the person leading the top 5 has already said.
Yes, correct.
So we will monitor that. We may even do a live listening because we can do that. We may even do a live listening, especially if they get to PKs at the end.
That would be fun. I looked at an article on Bleacher Report, and it said one word to describe the offseason so far for each NHL team. For instance, the Florida Panthers, the word is intriguing because they got the other Kachuk brother. The LA Kings, the word was old. The word for your Minnesota Wild, lackluster.
Really?
Lackluster. It says the Wild are still looking for an elite number 1 center to take this team to cup contender status.
Yeah.
Losing Zuccarello, Tarasenko, and Johansson is going to sting on the production side, which was already an issue for depth. Adding Blake Coleman in a trade with Calgary should help, but there's more work to be done by Bill Guerin. Lackluster, the word for your Minnesota Wild. And I don't entirely disagree, but I also will say let's wait for the picture to be painted before we start calling it lackluster.
Well, that's it. The whole premise of the article, I get why they're writing it now.
Yeah.
But it's not done yet. It's judging a painting before it's done. It's judging a road before it's done. It's judging a building before it's done. Yeah, the signs maybe aren't great, and some of the people that they've lost, you can flip a coin on some of them, whether it's important or not. I think the Zuccarello thing is kind of a buzzkill, personally, because it seemed like he wanted to play here, and we know how important he is and has been. I'm also fine with giving Kaprizov a little bit of the Dumbo thing, removing the feather. You can fly without it.
Yeah, shot across the bow a little bit.
Well, we got to be able to do it without it. And I'm fine with breaking up the band a little bit. But there's one big, speaking of feathers, feather left is if Quinn Hughes is signed to an extension, that goes from lackluster to what? Pretty solid, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I mean, it's still good. But
because a lot of their moves have to do with, there's only so much they can do because of how much money they're eventually going to give him, right?
That is true.
So there's a few dominoes, and obviously they're also waiting for the Dylan Larkin thing. So it'd be hard to not be lackluster when you're waiting on those two big pieces, or am I missing something?
I just don't. The reason I don't fully disagree is because I just don't know what we're going to get out of some of the new guys. Like, Calvin Pickard's going to be the backup to the Wall in St. Paul until Gus Bus is ready. He'll probably go to Iowa.
Yep.
Blake Coleman, depth scoring piece on the probably second or third line, and Ali Mata will be a depth defenseman. But then this Max Shabanov, who they're really fired up about, who, by the way, they announced earlier today, he'll be 49, which this could maybe PST material. That's not a goal-scoring number. Not a goal-scoring number. 49. Got to get him something lower.
You're really in tune with the kits.
I'm mostly being sarcastic. I'm about 85% sarcastic.
I'd say it's like 50-50.
Nah.
Because your background, you go back 24 hours, one of the reasons you thought the U.S. struggled against Belgium the last time is because their uniforms were too similar.
If you go back and watch that game, it was a joke. You could not tell who was who.
I got a couple of texts last night about that.
No, I'm sure you did.
Said the uniform thing. I go, yeah, he was dug in on the uniform.
Was it from B. Molesky?
No, it wasn't. But
okay, then we're good.
It could have been. So, 49. So you think Bill Guerin should make? You think John Hines should make him change his number?
I'm thinking you got to go a little lower. Where's a 23? An 11. That's a goal scorer number. Anyways,
okay.
I'm just being sarcastic.
So lackluster.
I don't know what we're going to get out of those guys, is my point.
Yeah.
I don't. So to me, my word would be mystery, because we just don't know what we're going to get from the new guys and if they can fill the holes. But it was obvious to me in that playoff series that the hole was number one center, and you could circle it and outline it 16 times. It was obvious that was what they were missing.
Switzerland with a grade A chance right in front of the Colombian net.
Offside.
It was saved by the goaltender. That's different. You missed the shot.
Oh, no?
It was, it was point blank. You'll see it right here. Just a rocket saved by the Colombia goaltender to keep the score 0-0, 103-40. Is the time on the clock. So there you go.
The latest on LeBron watch, it seems I only know Brian Windhorst as a casual. You're a soccer casual. I'm a basketball casual.
Yep.
I know him from the 2 fingers in the air meme.
It's the best.
You know what I'm talking?
Of course.
I can't even remember what it was.
He was outlining some team's plan.
Yeah,
and it was very dramatic and deliberate about it. Yeah, I don't even know either.
Something is lining up with plans of. It was just brilliant.
It's a great picture.
It really is.
Yeah.
That something is hinting towards something else. Well, his radar must be up. He's saying that LeBron, the vibes are headed to Cleveland again. Your thoughts?
He's been in that's the one that wouldn't be the gut punch. To me, going to Denver, it would still be the toughest, because if he goes to Denver...
Is that in the mix, or is that us saying...
They haven't been told no.
Oh, well, I guess.
They haven't been told no. So that would be the one where... Because right now, Minnesota doesn't feel realistic, even though they haven't been told no either. And even though we all heard what Rich Paul, his agent, said to Max Kellerman on their podcast about why Minnesota would be intriguing to LeBron. Denver, to me, represents, even though they've won a title and they have the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic, enough of a wild card in this whole thing where you could say, man, if he was going to go to Denver, he could have come here. I know their winters are a little milder and there's great golf, which I think we're all obsessing too much about the golf. Like, people are like, do we have to give them our top 100 golf courses? Do we have to tell them about the Classic up at Madden's? Like, what are we doing here? But
you watch that video with him and Bob Does Sports, you'll change your tune on that.
Denver is enough of a wild card where it would make Minnesota feel like it was actually a possibility. So that would hurt more than going to Cleveland. Like, going to Golden State, easy, right? Mike Trudell said it yesterday. It's his buddies. It's his peers. They actually have guys that have played with him for a decade plus. All these other teams, a lot of them have younger guys that aren't really his peers or around his peer, and had playoff battles with them, like he has with Steph and Draymond. Steve Kerr, coach on the Olympic team. Like, that makes sense. Cleveland obviously makes sense. It's where he's from. It's where he started. He's already won a title there. The assistant general manager is one of his oldest friends, who's also from Ohio. That's who Rich Paul said was one of the X factors of this whole thing. It's like a brother to him. And so when you talk about the vibes, as Windhorst did in that clip, the vibes are high, yeah, because that's his home. He's been in Akron all weekend. He was hanging out at the nightclub that he built there. hanging out with his friends. I get it. Like, that one would be an easy one to digest if you're a Wolves fan. All right, he's going back home. Miami, I could see it because he's been there too, and he likes Riley, he likes Spo. Obviously, playing with Giannis is a big deal. But so those three, I'd be okay with. Miami, maybe less so, but the Denver one, and Philly's in the mix too. But the Cleveland one would be the easiest. That makes sense, besides Golden State. I'd still be bummed because, you should see my phone from, like, friends of mine about what's going on with LeBron. Yeah, just waiting. Like, is this really going to happen? Could it happen? Because most people do agree, and a couple of reporters have written this. If it's a basketball thing, the Wolves should be top 2 or 3 choices. They have the best young superstar out of all those groups, I think, in Anthony Edwards. They have LaMelo Ball, who, when healthy, can be very exciting. They're going to have a good defense. They've got Jaden McDaniels. They've got a good coach. They have really good infrastructure and a nice spot to slide into. Every team that he's considering kind of has that as well. But that's where it's gotten people's antenna up, is Johnny writes about the push they're making for him. Sam Quinn from CBS goes flat out and says this is where he should go. Max Kellerman says to Rich Paul's face on the podcast, this one intrigues me the most. So that got everybody into a lather. And that's what has accelerated the hopefulness, even though it's still a very small chance.
In this was 2022, Utah traded they were sending Royce O'Neal to the Nets in exchange for a first-round pick. And Brian Windhorst said, what's going on in Utah? It's a very strange trade. And that's where the finger meme came to be. Yeah. Well, something's going on in Utah. It's not lining up.
It's
just
great.
Genius. It's so good.
One of my favorites. Anything else in the top 5 at 5?
That's it. Twins played as well, I'm sure.
And Byron Buxton is going to the IL, it sounds like, officially. So we'll get more details on that. And we were talking about aging athlete, LeBron James, another ageless, timeless wonder, had an epic performance today that I do feel like we need to spend a couple of minutes on. I'll give you details on it when we come back.
In for Barreiro, this is Justin Guard on the Fan.
This Friday, you can come watch all the World Cup action with Nordo at McHugh's in Savage. Great part of town. We'll have the quarterfinal matches on, tons of games, prizes, and, of course, great drink specials. Party starts at 2 p.m. We'll see you this Friday at McHugh's in Savage.
Bradshaw and Brian, KFAN text line is 64686. Guardsy in for Barreiro today. Not supposed to be, but Dan had some travel issues. He hopefully will be back tomorrow. Clayton in Rochester. Who will get to MSP first, Dan or LeBron? Dan or LeBron? Well, I'd say hopefully LeBron. I want to have Dan back. I'd like him to be back to host the show tomorrow, but I'd take one for the team and host again if LeBron showed up at MSP tonight.
You'd find something to talk about.
Yeah, we would find something to talk about. That's one text. The other one from 920 guy JG. Did you see Ant delivered the game ball in Atlanta today? Does it bother you as much as it does myself that he's representing another city like this? I know it's his hometown, but it's a city with an NBA franchise that is likely going to target him in 3 years, so it's a bad look for him.
Everyone's going to leave.
Yeah, my simple answer is no, it doesn't bother me. It's his hometown. It's where he lives. It's a rare opportunity. We didn't bid on the World Cup. Our people said we got out of it. We had the opportunity to put a bid in, and we said we're not going to do it this time. We're not going to do it this time around. We were just coming off the Super Bowl. We'd already asked corporate America, corporate Minneapolis and St. Paul for a lot of money. The fan has learned FIFA demands a lot of its host cities in terms of what you give up and what they're allowed to do. So had we hosted one at the People's Stadium, I bet Anthony Edwards would have delivered the game ball here, but we didn't. And Atlanta was the place. So it doesn't bother me. I get the paranoia. I remember when Cat threw out the first pitch at a Yankee game before he was traded to the Knicks. Like, everybody's from somewhere. And in major cities, they all have sports teams. So where do you draw the line? I don't have a ton of problem with it. You know I'm a tennis guy.
You enjoy it?
I love it.
I didn't even know there was a tennis channel until I'd come in after you and see that there's a tennis channel on, because that's
right.
what was left on the TV.
And about 4 times a year, I put it on that TV in that room, and I'll watch stuff. And this is how I'm old enough to remember. You wouldn't have been here, I don't think, yet. When did you start working here?
2019.
Yeah, you were not here yet. This was, I want to say, like 2012 or 2013. I was hosting, I want to say, Sunday sermons, maybe. It might have been the Cake Show. And Andy Murray was about to win Wimbledon and snap a 75-ish year streak or drought for someone from Great Britain to win Wimbledon. I think Fred Perry was the one before him. It's all Googleable. And he'd been close. He'd lost to Federer in the finals. He'd been to semifinals, the whole deal. And so the weight of a nation, the weight of a region, because he's from Scotland, was on this guy's back. And he finally got it done. I want to say 2013, because the 2012 Olympics, he actually won the gold medal at Wimbledon in London after having lost the final to Federer. And I remember doing that Sunday show, and the entire last set, I was basically like Common during 5-3-4 when he's eating his lunch. I wasn't paying attention. And I was hosting the show. So I'd be talking, I don't know if I had a guest on, and I would just be watching the TV that I'm watching right now for Andy Murray. So I feel like it's some positive growth that I had no idea that Novak Djokovic was in the middle of the longest quarterfinal in Wimbledon history, and that he won in a match tiebreak, which when you get to 6-all in the 5th set, you play a 10-point super breaker. It used to be you would just go until you won by 2. And people may remember the John Isner-Nicholas Mahut match that went 70-68, I think, over 3 days. We had John Isner on the show that same day, by the way, if you want to go back, 2010. And I had no idea this was going on. And it's an interesting deal because the phrase is, how does the phrase go? You can help me with this, I think. You live long enough. It's about living long enough to be the hero. The hero dies a villain. So
you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
There you go.
Thank you.
Dark Knight. I knew you could. Yes.
Yeah.
Novak Djokovic has reversed it, in my opinion. Because to me, he used to be a villain. He used to be a guy I did not enjoy. He was one of the disruptors in the Roger Federer, Andy Murray, certainly I'd say Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal rivalry. That was the big rivalry for 7-8 years. And Djokovic, and those two are like Mount Rushmore of just class. Like Federer looks like he was born at Wimbledon. There's a great picture of him last night. He's literally the only person left in the royal box. He's watching, I think, a couple of players come out. Everybody else in the royal box is doing something. And Federer is just such a tennis nut and such a respectful guy. He's front and center waiting for these guys to play. Like, to me, Federer is my favorite player that I've probably ever watched, and that's with all due respect to Andre Agassi. But Federer and Nadal, great sportsman, great competitor. They were a great rival. Djokovic was like this punk disruptor that rubbed people the wrong way, that said controversial things, did controversial things. In his post-match interviews, like he criticized Andy Roddick in a post-match interview in New York and got booed. Like, he was just this guy. It's like, I just don't like this guy. There's something about him. I just don't like him. He's not like Federer. He's not like Nadal. He's not even like Murray. I don't like him. Well, he's 39 years old. He has the most major championships of anybody. He broke that record. He's got 24. Okay? He plays like 5 times a year because the grind is too long. He's 39. Okay? He just played for 5 hours and 15 minutes and beat the third player in the world, Felix Auger-Aliassime from Canada, who's had this. He's been kind of one of the next up-and-comers for the last few years. And now he's completely come into his own. He's a top 4 player in the world. He's definitely a Grand Slam threat. I don't know how old he is. We could look it up quickly, but he's probably 23, 24, 25.
What's his name?
Here, I'll just Google.
All right.
I'll just click it, and we'll see how old he is here. He's 25. He's been around for a while. And Joker just beat him in the longest quarterfinal in Wimbledon history, 5 hours and 15 minutes. 39 years old. Now,
if you weren't working, is that a 5 hour, like, sit down, we're watching this? Is it a let's join in 3 hours in. How does that work as a tennis guy?
It's hard. It's tough, and that's one of the things that works against tennis. One of the things that works for soccer is you pretty much know, even with extra time, how long it's going to be.
It's 2 hours.
Yeah.
On the nuts.
Yes.
Every time.
And so with tennis, one of their issues is how do you get people to do what you just said? To sit there for 5 hours and 15 minutes. For a quarterfinal, I probably wouldn't do it. For a final, and I've done it. I did this last year, the French Open final with Sinner and Alcaraz. I started, I'm just going to watch it for a while. Then we've got stuff to do. It's Sunday morning. And it ended like 5 hours, and I watched every single second of it because it was so good. Because it depends on the level, to answer your question. But I have, like Nadal and Federer, I've sat for 5 hours. Djokovic, Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, I've sat. Murray, I have sat for that. I never plan on it. When I was younger and didn't have any kids, I could plan on it. Now you can't plan 5 hours, a 5 hour block, unless you're just home and it's on. So if I wasn't working, if I was home and I didn't have any parenting responsibilities, I would have stuck with it because I only learned about it because of the text line. Multiple people are like, hey, Joker's in a bloodbath right now. It's an absolute battle. I wish I would have seen it, but I'm a World Cup guy now. So I was watching Switzerland, Colombia, which is in the final couple of minutes of extra time. But I just want to give this dude his flowers because I think we take for granted, like with LeBron, everybody just assumes like, oh yeah, he's LeBron. He's going to be here and he's going to be good. He's 41 years old. Like I was at, again, I said this yesterday. I was at my first college in 2003 when I watched him play on ESPN2 for the first time as a junior in high school. He was a junior, and they televised one of his games at St. Vincent St. Mary's. That's how long this dude has been in our life. Serena Williams coming back, same thing. I remember watching her as a teenager. Like the fact that she even got out there and played as well as she did is absurd. Tom Brady, go down the list, right? Djokovic, 39, 5 hours and 15 minutes against a dude who's 14 years his junior, and he beats him. Like, and now he's in his 8th straight Wimbledon semifinal, which I think is a record. And his reward is the number 1 player in the world, Jannik Sinner, who is one of the top 2 guys going right now with Alcaraz, who is injured. So want to give him his flowers because 39, man. Like, it's absurd that he's continuing to do this and not playing very much. Like every sport, you have to play it to stay good. You have to compete to stay good, to keep your form. Golf, soccer, right? Or you get the rest versus rust thing. He pops into like 7 or 8 tournaments a year, a couple outside of the majors. And the fact that he's doing this at 39, like, wanted to pause and give him his flowers. And I'm glad I didn't know what was going on at the time because we had a pretty meaty discussion going on in the 3 o'clock hour about youth sports, and I would have been heavily distracted. So anyway, Sinner and Djokovic on Friday, center court, the semifinals of Wimbledon. We're going to get back to the soccer. A couple of final thoughts from our World Cup correspondent, Brett Blakemore, on the match last night, the Pulisic meat grinder, the bitterness surrounding him, and whether or not how we judge now the U.S. run in the World Cup now that it's over. All that coming up.
Justin Gar.
For the action with KFAN, breaking sports news, exclusive contests, and more, you can follow KFAN 1003 on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, and YouTube. Stay connected and follow the sports leader, The Fan.
May do a live listen-in because we've got penalty kicks here. Switzerland and Colombia, right, for the spot, the final quarterfinal spot in the World Cup. Did I get the teams right?
You did. I don't like this way to decide such a big game, but watching it as a neutral is fantastic. It's so good.
But it's kind of what you have to do, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they can't just run around
you got 30,
forever.
It's 30 minutes of extra time plus the injury time or stoppage time.
Yeah.
At some point, you kind of have to. Did you mind it when Brandy Chastain won it in the Rose Bowl for the U.S.?
Not at all.
In 1999? I think to beat China. Does that sound right?
I just know the iconic shot.
There's a statue at the Rose Bowl of that pose.
Uh-huh.
It's the best. So we've got Colombia.
Here we go.
Up first. Should we do a live listening?
Sure.
Do we have that ability?
We do.
We may as well do it, and we'll sprinkle in United States World Cup stuff as we go. We are your home for the World Cup. This is in Vancouver. A lot of drama.
I don't know if it'll sync up with what we're seeing.
It probably won't.
Quintero versus Kerbal. Brilliant penalty. 1-0. That's what you want. Score the first one, get yourself.
So we're pretty far behind.
Put your main man up first.
You think so? Just like 10 or 15 seconds, probably. Right now, our guy's lining up. The guy that just scored.
No chance. None of that stutter step. Picks his spot right down the middle.
Now this is interesting.
Yeah, brilliant penalty.
We're watching Colombia celebrations. We're watching a bit of a flare-up involving Yerry Mina and Manuel Akanji.
Flare-up?
Who was walking Granit Xhaka up the
Tension.
pitch. And there seems to be indecision in the Swiss line as to who's taking the first one.
Oh, no. It's already crumbling.
Captain Granit Xhaka, but this is hardly ideal preparation for him.
No, Granit Xhaka, you want your main man, your captain, your leader, most experienced.
Tone setter.
Don't you have this already ready to go?
Exactly.
Vargas.
Yeah.
Cheers raining down on him in Vancouver. Most experienced man in the Swiss team, the captain. Big moment. Scores just about, but he got a piece of it, the goalkeeper.
That was close. He didn't hit it as convincing as I thought he would, Xhaka. He's normally a brilliant striker of the ball. Vargas guessed right. Just watch, he gets his left hand on it, just not strong enough. He's just a little bit too low, can't get enough power.
Imagine standing there.
The worst place to hit these penalty kicks, Guardsy, is to the side and about halfway up. That's the worst possible. Either low into the sides or high into the side. The middle is danger zone. Like, you'll see this replay. It was right in the middle, and that's why he got a piece of it.
Not a very good shot. You're right.
But the first two have been converted. Now then, Davinson Sanchez.
You do wonder what it's like to stand there in front of, this is Vancouver, 90,000 people. Your entire country's hopes and dreams hinging on your shot. Is there a more pressure-filled moment for an athlete than this? I go back to Gordon Bombay in Mighty Ducks.
The triple deke.
The triple deke. It was for the championship, and we know how that ended.
For some reason, they didn't pay the power bill, and the lights were all off.
Spoiler alert on whether or not he made the triple deke or not for Mighty Ducks. All right, so now it's Colombia.
Smashed onto the bar. Smashed onto the bar.
Did it go in?
And that's the first mistake, and it's a Colombian mistake.
There it is. What do you think of the goaltender, goalkeeper?
Quintero smashed it.
That kind of dancing back and forth, you know, kind of like all that's missing is the thunder sticks that you get behind the basket at a Timberwolves game. Trying to distract. He had him beat.
Oh, that's tough.
He had him beat. Also, what do you think of the goaltender after he's nowhere near the ball? It hits the crossbar, and he puts his finger up. It's like the defensive back. That
I was about to say, we have the exact same thing here. It's an incomplete pass that Jair Alexander is going, no!
And he does the straps.
Yeah.
You know, or does
Strapped
that.
in.
Yep. Exactly. All right, so Colombia makes the first mistake. Swiss in pole position here.
No run-up whatsoever, really.
Colombian fan devastated on Fox.
To give Switzerland the lead in the shootout. Stutter step, penalty, brilliant. Calm as you like, ice in his veins. That's like he's on the training pitch.
That was very chilled.
This is the best crew, right?
So good.
This is,
I think so,
everybody likes this crew. I think this is the crew Dan was talking about.
Let's see this.
I mean, it works when the keeper goes the other way. Really cool and composed.
Oh, yeah.
That was easy.
That was practice pitch.
I think it's easier.
I'm going to start doing that on my women's basketball calls. Mara Braun, 3 from the wing, brilliant. Like she's in the practice gym. Absolute class. Grace Graholski, brilliant. So smooth. Is that Sarah Silverman? She's not from
I
Switzerland.
don't think so.
Switzerland leading 2-1. Campas gets it under Kerbal. Just got it under Kerbal. Relief and celebration for the Colombian number 21. It's 2-2.
Yeah, it's a big shot. Colombia could not afford to go down 3-1 here in the PKs.
Usually these are, you're expected to score. Like, if you're a keeper in this, if you save one, you're a hero.
Right.
You know? So it's not like...
Oh, he guessed right,
close.
though.
Yeah.
Man.
So Campas
went right underneath the keeper. He guessed right.
Steps forward for Switzerland, the only Swiss player to miss in the Euro 2024 shootout defeat against England.
Wow. See, that is high-level announcing right there.
Yep.
That is a deep cut. Nicely done.
This is to put them back ahead.
That is a nugget. You think he's thinking about that right now, Brett?
Probably.
It's in the back of his mind, the 2024.
Versus Vargas. Oh, he's put it over the bar.
Oh, he did it again.
One for Colombia and one for Switzerland, and made a right mess of it.
It's anyone's game, Guardsy.
This is for the second shootout in a major tournament for Switzerland.
Ooh.
And they're level at 2-2.
He had such a brilliant game, Akanji.
That is the tough part. Let's see it.
I mean, it's nowhere near.
Oh, no, he airmailed that one. Yeah, he goes right down to the turf. Oh, get up, buddy. That is heartbreak. I hope it doesn't cost him. Yeah, you should feel for him.
I hear the Jacksonville Jaguars are inquiring about his services.
I mean, Ray Finkel missed a field goal in the Super Bowl and never recovered. Oh, and his teammates go, what do they call that, the Cobra? Where you put your hands on top of your head? Oh, his keeper picked him up.
The penalty kick, but a brilliant save by the Swiss goalkeeper, and it's advantage Switzerland once again.
What a save that is! And it's at that height I had mentioned. It's not low and it's not high. It's just perfect for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, you can't go middle, Guardsy. That's what I was saying.
Great save. He almost catches that.
He almost caught that. You can go straps on that one.
That's a straps.
If you're just joining us, pot it down just a little bit. If you're just joining us, we are in penalty kicks here. Switzerland and Colombia. Final spot in the quarterfinals on the line. It is 0-0. A clean sheet for both. The winner of this penalty kick shootout will take on Argentina on Saturday at 8 o'clock. Argentina with a thrilling come-from-behind victory today against Egypt.
Argentina waiting for the winners.
I just said that.
Colombia need their goalkeeper. Itten scores down the middle. Advantage Switzerland. Colombia now have to score.
How risky is it to go right down the middle?
That takes some cojones. Yeah. It's high risk, high reward, because if they dive, you look like a genius.
Yep.
But if they just stand still and they just catch it, just nonchalantly, you look like an idiot.
Oh, yeah. And that wasn't very, I mean, that's where the Swiss guy that missed it was going, middle. He just airmailed it.
Switzerland travel to Kansas City to play Messi and the world champions. If Diaz
Switzerland fans already crying in the crowd.
Falls on the fifth penalty taker.
On a rocket.
For Switzerland.
The guy that just missed it's feeling better.
To keep them
he needs it, that poor guy.
2026 World Cup finals.
All right, so a save here in Colombia is out.
Colombia wouldn't want any other player in this circumstance bar Luis Diaz. Sends him the wrong way and scores.
Ooh.
They survive. It's a lifeline for Colombia.
Temporarily.
Luis Diaz does what he had to do.
Yarmin is back at it again. Luis Diaz going over to the goalkeeper.
Diaz is a really good player.
Referees had to intervene. Yarmin is trying to hit a mind games. Just sends Kubo the wrong way. Really cooling composed under that pressure from Luis
That was
Diaz.
sneaky. That was sneaky. A little stutter step.
So all eyes in this stadium in Vancouver fall on the number 17 of Switzerland, Ruben Vargas.
Vargas v Vargas.
Vargas v. Vargas.
Doesn't get any bigger.
For the final spot.
And grab the tension in this stadium in both hands. Vargas has to score. The other Vargas has to save. Woo! This to send Switzerland through. And he does score!
There it is.
Wow.
Ruben Vargas! And Switzerland head to Kansas City to meet Messi and Argentina.
Take a look. Oh, no
Sends in
brainer.
the wrong way.
Yep. That'll do it for the Swiss. Roger Federer across the pond in England, I'm sure, is rejoicing in the royal box. Switzerland advances. So how does this score get noted? It's 0-0, and then they just say PK?
I think it does change on the competition, but I think in the World Cup it's officially listed as 0-0, but then under that, it'll be 4-3 PK.
All right. Yeah. Crank it back up a little bit. I want to hear these play-by-play guys are brilliant. I want to hear how they set the scene.
Patrick Mahomes in the most dramatic of circumstances. Davinson Sanchez and Chucho Hernandez.
Song's a banger too.
Missing in the penalty shootout. Ruben Vargas, Owen Hargreaves with the most important kick of his footballing life.
But there's the star man, Gregor Kobel. Exceptional penalty from Vargas at the end.
The Swiss player that missed is so happy right now. They just showed him.
Doesn't have to delete his Instagram account.
Switzerland march on. It's Argentina versus Switzerland in the most dramatic of circumstances.
And Darren, thank you very much.
All right, that's great. That's great.
So good.
Love the live listening. Yeah, there's Colombian players obviously in tears on the pitch, on their hands and knees.
Do you think this is going to set back Colombian football for decades, this loss?
You do wonder about their youth system.
Think about it.
You do wonder, do they do pay for play like we do? Do they need a manager change? So the tournament rolls on without the United States. The quarterfinals are now set. You can hear a lot of it right here on the fan. France, Morocco, Spain, Belgium, Norway, England, Argentina, and Switzerland. Got matches on Thursday, Friday, and then a couple on Saturday. But the U.S., the fan has learned, won't be a part of it. And if you're just joining us, we open the show. First of all, kind of doing a welfare check. Chad Abbott came down just to check on Brett during the first break.
That is true.
He doesn't come down to the studio very often. The only time I see him is when he's mad at Common, if he needs to talk to Dan about something and didn't get to him before the show, or for welfare checks.
Or if PA missed a break, he may come down for that.
He may come down. It may come down for that, sure. Or come in to make sure Halby's doing stuff on social media for the morning show. But really, there's just a handful of reasons. But I think the most common appearance of Chad Abbott in the studio is we did something wrong and he wants to yell at us in person. He used to just call the phone over to your right.
And when that phone rings, there's only one person on the other side.
When his extension popped up, you're like, oh no, what did I do? But today he came down. He will come down for a welfare check if something has gone wrong. And he did that for you today. I think a lot of us did that for you today. The only text I sent you last night was I was very concerned whether or not you were going to make it home in time for the match, because I know you've got a little bit longer drive now that you moved down south a little bit. Mm-hmm. I didn't really want to bother you while the meltdown was happening.
Yeah.
Because I could imagine how bitter you were. Because as we talked about at the top, as a sports fan, nothing hurts as much as something that is so highly anticipated that goes so wrong so quickly. And it just doesn't feel right from the jump. And that was the U.S. against Belgium last night. And when it ends very, very quickly. The 3-week ride, has it been 3 weeks since
Something
we played?
like that, yeah.
The Paraguay match on that Friday night that kind of got this whole thing going. Country Roads becomes a new national anthem. Seattle, the soccer city, hosts a match. It's unbelievable. They hosted last night. You've got L.A., you've got Santa Clara. It's all good. People are fired up. Could they possibly get to Friday against Spain? 2 o'clock would have been right during the show. How good would that have been? And it just screeches. And it halts. And it's done. And it sucks when it's over, because it's just over. And now you've got to wait. For most of us, you'll catch in. You'll stay up to speed on what happens with the team and what do they do with the coach and will they extend them, will they not? We'll get your thoughts on should they in a minute. But 8 teams in the quarters, Brett, and U.S. is not one of them on our home soil.
It's also, it's one of those where if you think about it with perspective and you say, would we have taken the U.S. winning their group comfortably?
Yeah.
Winning in the round of 32 and losing to a better team in the round of 16? Most everyone, diehard and casual, would have probably went, yeah, that's about right. That's about where we are. So from that perspective, it's not that bad, but just the way that it happened, the fashion of just embarrassing. I mean, they didn't look half the team they were for the entire tournament. It just, whether it was the lights were too bright for them, whether the outside noise got to them, for whatever reason, the fact of the matter is they just weren't, they didn't play well. They played like crap. And that's what happens in a tournament like this. You can miss one penalty kick and you're out.
The margins,
like we just saw.
The margins are small.
And the margins were very big for the U.S., at least in that game, because they were just terrible start to finish. Every single player was bad. The Belgium had it. There was one play in particular where the ball got to Balogun on kind of the box in the offensive zone, to put it in hockey terms, and he tried to do a little fancy flick kind of behind him.
Yep.
And the Belgian defender said, seen that before, watch that in the tape, and immediately intercepted, and the ball went the other way. And they had us on lock and key.
They did. We talk about strapped.
Yeah, we were strapped.
It seemed like in the first handful of minutes, understandably, they were nervous.
Yeah.
Like you see that in every sport. You see it at every level. When a team is leveling up, and there's no doubt playing Belgium last night, the U.S. was leveling up from who they played. Now, we can argue about Paraguay. Like, they were obviously ready for that. Mm-hmm. And first matches, you don't know who's playing, how they're playing. Like, there's probably a acclimation period maybe for both teams. I'm sure the U.S. was just jacked to get out there. I mean, they're probably training. Yeah. They're like, this is it. We're here.
Their 2 warm-ups were good.
Let's do it. So, let's go. They were clearly ready to go. And as you get in further into the tournament, as you said, there's more tape. There's more scouting on tactics. And when you're leveling up, which the U.S. was, to Belgium, who's a good team, who's top 10 in the world, right? I think they're 9th in the world rankings. U.S. is 17. It's hard to ease your way into that match, even though the Belgium form, as you've told us and others have told us, was not on point really for much of the tournament. It tells you really how good of a soccer country they are, that they kind of ease their way into the bit. But when you're going up, and this is the biggest moment that all of these guys have probably had in the game, there's going to be some nerves. And we saw that on full display. And unfortunately, that they never got out of that. And even when they did kind of get themselves back in it where they're only down a goal, then the other meltdown started to happen. And can't do that in a round of 16 game in the World Cup, the fan has learned.
Think about this. The first warm-up game for the World Cup, they played 2 before they got into it, was against Senegal, and the U.S. played their starters in the first half and dominated them. I think it was either 2 goals or 3 goals. They looked completely the better team. That same Senegal team later on in the actual tournament plays against Belgium and are up 2 goals on them. And it takes a miraculous comeback for Belgium to be even in it.
That's right.
So, and that's a team that the U.S. spanked, 2 weeks ago. And then, of course, to complete the circle, Belgium comes into Seattle and spanks us. So, but really it was, I don't know why I keep doing the spanking thing, but it was really us spanking ourselves. Like, all of the goals were so, I don't know why I went down that road. All the goals were so preventable, and they were mistakes, and they were just getting out-efforted. Like the first one, there's a ball that's just a pop fly. None of the U.S. players go after it. Oh, I thought you were going to have it. We see that in baseball all the time. And guess what? That sucker drops, and now it's in your net because Tim Ream got beat on the back door. Second goal, no one comes out down the wing, simple cross in, and the guy jumps over Tim Ream and scores. And the third one, we've talked about it, the goalkeeper, his brain fell out or something happened. I don't know.
That was deflating.
So, and then even the fourth one, there were 2 chances to where the U.S. could have cleared that ball out of the box and tried to be all cute, turn the ball over, and it's in your net. So all of them were preventable. It was just the U.S. It's not more complicated. You don't have to be dramatic and say it's going to set us back 20 years. Because I think the progress that they made, the fact that we're still talking about it at 6 o'clock, tells me that it's made some progress and headway in this country, at least as far as the interest level for this specific team. They played well enough to earn that, but they just played horribly. I think it's just as simple as that.
Chris Hockey was listening to the last segment. If you're still listening now, Chris, Brett talking about all the spanking is at 5:59 if you need Halby to grab that tomorrow. 5:59 if you need the Brett Blakemore spanking conversation. Final half hour of the show, a little more World Cup, a little more LeBron, a little bit more about the topic that we spent pretty much an hour on in terms of the youth sports stuff in our country. Started with soccer, branched out to hockey, basketball, lacrosse, all of it, baseball. We got texts on all of it. We'll get back to all of that in our final half hour.
In for Barreiro.
Texts and talkbacks and tweets, and I got texts to my phone about our 3:30 to 4:30-ish discussion about youth sports in America. Guardsy in for Barreiro, by the way. We hope Dan will be back tomorrow. Had some travel issues yesterday. Hopefully, he's willing to share why he was delayed and why he is not here today. He was supposed to be back today, but he's not. Tough travels, so we'll see what the Larry David of the fan wants to share tomorrow. But the U.S. loss last night followed a predictable pattern post-match where immediately the match, which, as you said, Brett, it was just a bad match. It was a tough time to play their worst match of the tournament.
Correct.
And do I think that the USA still has work to do on a global stage when it comes to competing with some of these powers, the 8 teams that are remaining? Of course. As much fun as we had about them arriving as a soccer nation because they finally got a controversial, corrupt FIFA call go their way with the red card being suspended for Balogun, they have not yet arrived as a soccer powerhouse. They may never arrive. There's a million things that are working against them in that regard. The same reason why, the U.S. is a power in a lot of different sports, right? Like American football. There's a reason why they call it American football. Mm-hmm. Like we could do all the world tours we want and expand and put games over in Germany and Brazil and London and Ireland and all the places the Vikings have been the last handful of years, the Packers too. And there's never going to be a team, and I don't even know how they would compete in this, but we're never going to say, man, the NFL really lost a foothold to the Argentina Football League or the European Football League. It's just never going to happen. Mm-hmm. We have a head start. It's part of our fabric. We're better at it than everybody. And that's just kind of how it goes. The U.S. is up against it when it comes to soccer, right? But that doesn't mean that there can't be improvements in the system and all of those things. And that's what a loss last night opens up. Today, really last night into today, it's been a number of tweet threads. It's been a number of threads. It's been a number of Instagram videos and a number of columns that have been written online and elsewhere talking about the broken youth system and how we're never going to compete at the highest level in soccer if we don't do X, Y, and Z and become more European. We talked a lot about that concept and really broadened it out to a number of different sports. And one of the things that's consistent, though, I think in all of our sports, and I just don't think we're giving ourselves the best chance really in anything because of how all our stuff is set up. There are so many financial barriers almost immediately. Because really the biggest idea, and I'm trying to localize this as best I can, or to dumb it down as best I can. Why do most of the state championships in this state and other states, when you watch a state tournament, who do you mostly see there? You see the biggest schools. You see the powerhouses. You've obviously got the private schools and things like that. But, for example, why historically was Eden Prairie just a football power? Well, they had like 5,000 kids at the high school. And that means they have, I don't know, do the math, 10, 15, 20,000 kids that are playing sports like every single year, just over and over and over. And then from that big pool to get to the top of the pyramid, what do you have to be? You have to be really damn good at all the sports, basketball, hockey, name it. It's kind of the usual suspects of who makes it the farthest. And there's a million different reasons. There's money, there's financials, all of that. But at the core of it, if you have a big group, the ones that emerge from that group because of natural competition year over year, year after year, over and over and over again, you're going to be really good. And one of the problems the U.S. has just in general is We're such a big country. We're such a vast country. It's hard to bring all that talent together to compete in their various sports over and over, year after year. To bring it to my sport, tennis. One of the reasons why they had the boom in the 80s and 90s, Nick Bollettieri started a tennis academy in Bradenton, Florida. It became IMG Academy, or it was bought by IMG. Now we know IMG. They have basketball, they have football, they have everything, right? It's a huge private school where people go down to Florida and they just turn their life over to sports. Well, in tennis, the theory was, I'm going to get like 100 of the best Americans, and they're going to come down here and they're going to beat the crap out of each other every single day. It's going to be dog eat dog. Out of that, Agassi, Courier, Chang, David Wheaton from right down here in Deep Haven, Minnesota. Like, all these guys became pros. Monica Seles, Anna Kournikova. Like, the number of number one players that the Bollettieri Academy produced is ridiculous. But the theory was, you bring everybody together, you beat the crap out of each other for like 5 or 6 years, and whoever survives that is going to be really, really good. In a lot of our sports, we're limiting the talent pool immediately because of how much it costs to do everything. And by the way, one of the few things I disagree with Andy Roddick on, who's a tennis guy, is that you don't have to have money to be a good tennis player. And he cites the Williams sisters, he cites Andre Agassi, he cites Novak Djokovic, who came from war-torn Serbia. What he leaves out, though, is all those guys. The Williams sisters moved all the way across the country from Compton to Florida to train in an academy, presumably for free. Andre Agassi went from Vegas to Florida to train in an academy, presumably for free. Novak Djokovic got good coaching, presumably for free. So there's a little bit of a myth there that you don't have to have money. Eventually you do, and eventually that comes into play. But at the youth levels, the second your kid shows any aptitude for anything and wants to take it to a different level here in the United States, the table stakes, the entry fee, gets to the thousands of dollars before they're 10 years old. And that is across the board. And as a father of kids who plays a bunch of different sports that want to go from rec to maybe a little bit more, you know, they're not going to be professional, but when they're 7, they're not beginners anymore, and they want to play, and they actually like to win, and that's fine. And there's really no middle ground, and there's no option. And that's where I think we got to figure something out to make the barrier to just keep playing. As many people keep playing as long as they can in any sport. That's how you develop the best of the best. And in soccer, it doesn't seem like we do it that way, right? Is that fair to say?
Not at all.
And so, because we always get the argument, well, if our best athletes played, think if LeBron James played soccer. I don't know. He might be good. He might not be. I don't know. He might not have the aptitude for it. He's a great athlete. He's one of the all-timers. I don't know. Would he be a good striker? I'd put him in the goal. He's got good reach, good catch radius, but you got to keep kids playing as long as they possibly can, with as many kids as they possibly can. And that's how you get the cream to rise to the top. And that's one thing we do definitely have backwards, and it's hard because I wonder how many people we lose in any sport because immediately it becomes a financial burden on whoever's paying for it, parents, grandparents, the association for scholarships. Like, there's just a lot there that I think we lose out on. And we get I got a lot of texts on this. So, well, if you don't like it, don't play. Like, but that's kind of the point. Like, you shouldn't have to be making those decisions when your kid is 7 or 8 years old. There should be options. There should be pathways. I mean, I don't know about everybody's 7 or 8 year old that they have. Like, mine doesn't know what they want to do on any given 15 minutes, let alone what they want to do with the rest of their lives. Like, why are we having to choose at that young of an age? Now, are there some that were born with skates on and take their knocks in the penalty box and their mom's the referee that are going to be hockey players no matter what? Of course, there's always the outliers. But it feels like what used to be for outliers, the Agassis, Djokovic's, Williams sisters that move away to train, seems like everybody's doing that now. And the last thing I'll say about it is, well, if you don't like it, don't do it. If your kid likes to play, they do have to keep doing it a little bit for it to be even fun for them to play with their friends, because all their friends are getting better. And if they want to just be on the team,
Yeah, their friends are going on the road trip. I want to be with them.
Yeah.
Go to the pools.
Or they made the team. Or they made this level. Like, it's not as easy as if you don't like it, don't play. Because if your kid likes to play, you want them to have fun with it. And it's not fun if they're no good. It's not fun for them. Or if their friends are... So it's complicated. As I said it at the beginning of the whole conversation, I have very few of the answers. I think we all kind of know the same problems. And really, the only thing we could do together to change it is to change it as parents, how we decide what we say yes to, how we are developing them or helping them develop the things we're funding. It's a complicated mess. I have not a ton of faith that it's going to change, but the only thing we can do is just kind of talk about it together and continue to hopefully move forward to make sure as many people get to play as long as they want to play before they even hit puberty, and know exactly what they're going to be good at and what they're going to like. And if it's fun for them, I don't know. It's a novel concept, but it seems like the financial barriers almost immediately pop up. And if you're lucky enough to have the money to be able to do it, that's good. But if you don't, it kind of sucks that you have to make those choices before they've, even, I don't know what the right metaphor is, before they're even in middle school. Just seems a little backwards. We'll put a wrap on the show, let you know what's hopefully coming up tomorrow with the hopeful Dan Barreiro return. All of that in the show wrap next.
Justin Garden.
It is brought to you by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975. Final segment, Bumper to Bumper, Cake Show edition. Guardsy and Brett Blakemore here. Been kind of a two-prong show again today. Really three. We talked World Cup. We talked youth sports. We got into a little bit of Wolves off the Brian Windhorst speculation that he thinks the vibes are good. The vibes are high for LeBron to return to Cleveland for a third time. He was drafted there. He returned there, won a title there, and now maybe wraps up his career there. We will, of course, be on LeBron watch until we're not, until all the teams are told that they are no longer in the mix. USA Soccer did the proverbial thank you fans post, full-page ad. What did they do?
So they did do, you were there, you supported us, yada, yada, we're happy for you, which is all well and good.
Country roads.
Which they did sign off.
Home.
The last words of the statement were, country roads take us home. But there was a passage in this that I thought you would find interesting given the major topic of the show has been youth sports. It says, to every kid who watched this team and dreams of wearing this crest one day, keep playing or start playing today. We'll be cheering for you. We'll keep doing the work to make sure every child who wants to play can do so. That means more places to play, more great coaches, referees, and mentors, and a game that's welcoming, affordable, and fun for everyone. There's a home for everyone in soccer.
Let's hope they're right. Let's hope they do that. It's one of the...
I don't know how.
I know. Well, exactly. The money's got to come from somewhere because you do need money. And I got a text here talking about the tennis angle of it. Wait, did you just say he said that you have to have money? I thought you said they went to the academy for free, so they didn't have to have money. They were just good. They probably got good when they had no money. I'm confused.
Huh?
I could see maybe where the confusion is. The point is they got to a certain level on their own, but then to go to the professional level, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of money to travel, to train, to have the coaches. And not everybody can do that. And it's not for everybody. But the point is, at some point, you need the money and someone's got to provide it, whether it's you or somebody else. And a lot of the money at these European federations, as I understand it, is provided for a lot of these clubs and the training. Whereas here in the United States, it's the opposite. The parents are footing the bill.
They look at it as an investment in the players because they can sell them off later, potentially.
And that's what happens. And we don't get that here. The MLS doesn't have that.
No.
And probably never will, but it's something worth looking at. Good job in emergency duty, as always, Brett Blakemore.
You say jump, we say how high.
Thank you for all your contributions as World Cup correspondent. We will talk to you about soccer in 4 years.
Love it. See you then.